Welcome to She Blaze, where we're bringing you cannabis culture from a woman's point of view. And as always, here to elevate the cannabis industry. I'm one of your hosts, Ice Dawson, Cannabis Socialite.
She Blaze.
And I am Dasheeda Dawson, the WeedHead.
Hi, sis.
Hey, sis.
Hey, sis. On today's episode of She Blaze, we got our eyes on the South. JayZ makes cannabis headlines again, and we have the ultimate cannabis gift guide.
Whoop, whoop. Okay, so I hope everybody enjoyed their holiday. I know it has been a very, very busy one for me, but I am still kind of reeling off of my high of the week. My high of the week this week is, again, be rooted. Be rooted in culture. This is Stationary with a Purpose, and I'm showing the Stay Ready mini journal as well as the Act Up spiral, and this has been a real awesome gift that I have. I gifted it to my sisters, but it's Black owned and essentially gives you great opportunities to write down your thoughts and make those dreams reality. This is how I write my strategy. So always ready to stay ready. That's my high of the week.
And you know, your sis always acting up, and in essence of acting up, since we can't really gift real cannabis for Christmas unless you're in a legal state. Of course, it's always a thing. I figured my high of the week is the ultimate gift guide. And so I'll let y'all know what's my favorite things later on in the episode.
Okay, stay tuned.
Yes. And so on our first hot topic, we are doing a snapshot of cannabis in the South. There is a lot of things going on in each state, you know, with the full sweep that happened during election. Everybody got their eyes on the cannabis now. You know,
of course. Now all of a sudden we all enlightened. Okay.
It's like when everybody spiritually awakens, it's like, okay, you're late. Thanks, but no thank you. And this is how late they really are in the South. Hello. So North Carolina's governor, Roy Cooper, is actually a Democrat. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, he's one of those blue guys. And he created a racial equity task force. Now, with this racial equity task force, it's supposed to figure out social justice, what's going on, why are Black and brown communities drowning so bad in the state. Mm-hmm. Well, their first recommendation was to decriminalize cannabis. Duh.
Well, welcome. Right, you said it's an awakening.
And no, it's a duh. Like, you ain't have to put a task force together to figure that out. Maybe if y'all would, you know, if you're trying to figure out why are they having food insecurity in Black and brown communities, maybe that a new recommendation for a racial equity task force would be helpful. But the first thing is decriminalize cannabis. Duh. We've been saying this for 5 years.
At least. And honestly, there's been enough ACLU data for at least the last decade to talk about what has happened for the 30 years prior. And we know that there are huge discrepancies. So, okay, what did they actually advise? Because this is going to be a little comedy, I'm sure.
Well, hold on. Let's give people an idea what having cannabis in North Carolina really looks like. So in North Carolina, you can still get arrested and charged with a drug felony for possessions under 0.25 gram. So if you have like less than a gram, right, you're going to go to jail and have a drug felony on your record in North Carolina.
Like, basically, if you have a roach in your pocket, you're going to jail.
Absolutely. And the task force shows that 63% of the convictions really come from Black and brown communities.
Wow, 63%. Like that. I mean, we know North Carolina has huge discrepancies, huge. But 63% is a large number. It is essentially saying 2 out of 3 people that get arrested for cannabis are Black or brown.
Right. And they only make up 30% of the population in North Carolina. So that's even more like, why did you have to create a task force to really get this idea going? I don't know. Well, with their recommendation, they're basically saying that it would alleviate the justice system in North Carolina. They're saying that up to 1.5 ounces of cannabis should be decriminalized. There should be a civil offense. Past convictions should be automatically expunged, and prosecutors have to deprioritize cannabis-related things.
Well, I definitely agree with you on the, like, interest of this not being like the best use of a task force, right? First of all, I really struggle with people being responsible for determining the limits when they don't understand basic weed market dynamics. And so immediately when I hear the ounce and a half, and people really be acting like you doing mad weight, I have to go through the numbers in my head. I'm a businesswoman. And so if I'm like, all right, an ounce is 28 grams, and like literally in the, best case scenario in the illegal market, you might be able to get $20 a dub, right? For your 1 gram. We're talking about $560, right?
Right.
We're talking about it's more expensive actually for the government to harass these people, arrest them, and put them in jail than it is for what they actually could get in the best case pricing scenario. Mm-hmm. And so the over policing of $560 worth of cannabis, which real talk, when we think about it from the perspective of what's happening in the legal market, may only really be $200 to $300 maybe worth of cannabis. You buy an ounce like a bulk, you get that discount. Why are we harassing people for this amount? Also, let's not front. We don't understand how much THC is in there, how much is being used. People like to buy in bulk all the time, right? And to your point, Free Nation Hemp, you're right. Who is spending $20 per gram? Some folks, but that's why I said that's the ceiling. Like, so the max we're talking about is we want people to not be carrying around $560 worth of cannabis, because it means somehow you are part of an, established enterprise. You're right.
How does that even work? People have more jewelry on that costs more than an ounce. Like the jewelry we wear, the ice we rock, ice me out, costs more than an ounce and a half of cannabis. Like, just to be clear, they didn't say a pound or 3 pounds or 10 pounds. They said an ounce. Yeah. Like, my family go through an ounce in 2 days.
Well, that's honestly, I was going to say, I would be arrested, right? Like, it's a balancing act that they're trying to create. And it's people who are put in charge of it that do not know what I've been calling is basic weed market dynamics. Yes, our cell phones cost more than the ounce that we are carrying. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense. And I just want to put that out there for North Carolina legislators and activists, advocates on the ground. We got a whole crew of folks down with M for MM there. You got to be able to teach them this. It's important that you share with them the perspective that, oh yeah, this is not a lot, and we're over policing a very small amount. On the usage side, for just someone who's a patient, like I said, I would be arrested. But also on the business side, when you think about what is that value on the street, and is it really worth that much cost and money to prevent people to have $500 worth of anything?
No, it really doesn't. Like, pointless. You guys are spending our money inappropriately. Shout out to everyone throwing us love in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for commenting, because you guys are right. Like, we should be like, come on now, shame on you, North Carolina. And so we gotta keep it going in the South, because Georgia, which I mean, they are moving so slow. Like, I'm actually kind of embarrassed saying, hey, my hometown is Atlanta, because Mississippi got cannabis before us. We Black Hollywood, but we can't get cannabis.
Fair enough.
We could get airports in random parking lots, but we can't get no weeds.
And I'm surprised that folks like T.I. and the like you said, Black Hollywood, they're using cannabis because they're using it in LA, which is Hollywood, right? It's free, it's legal there. So free to use. And I'm surprised they're allowing Georgia to, move on like this.
I mean, the fact that they're even allowing this medical market is comical. It's like, y'all millionaires, but y'all tax dollars ain't doing nothing. Let me tell you why. Because they've had medical marijuana for the last 5 years, you guys. The last 5 years they've had medical marijuana. Now, this is terrible because they can only go to 5% THC. And there's only 14,000 registered patients with no clear guidelines on how to even become a registered patient. And they basically, last year, we've been getting on them for a minute because, I'm from here, so I could talk that talk. Basically, they put somebody in charge of the commission that's pretty much only done licensing for hair and beauty. He also did licensing for the nurses department in Georgia. Now that's cool, but what he know about cannabis? Nothing. All these people on their commission know nothing about cannabis. And so they decided they wanted to create a framework since there can only have 6 licenses. Yes, I said that right. 6 licenses for medical marijuana in Georgia. Now, this is really some stuff. Basically, medical marijuana manufacturing facilities must have round-the-clock security, video monitoring, key cards, and they have to record every employee and visitor's access. Manufacturers must provide tracking throughout the production to allow law enforcement to inspect facilities on demand. And the word on the street is 2 companies have been whispering that they will get the licenses in March when they announce their awards.
You see me over here. I mean, for folks who are listening, like my facial expression says it all. I'm disgusted because this is like a waste of our tax dollars. As a government official, I think about how much effort it takes to put together a task force, how much time it takes to manage it. I'm doing that now. I got 3 or 4 different advisory bodies that I got to manage. And I think to myself about what North Carolina did, how much money they spent to do that, what Georgia is currently doing. And what doesn't make sense is that there's, again, that license cap, but also you're treating it like they're creating prisons. It's like prison for the weed.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like, we're going to go beep, beep. We're going to go through 3 levels of security.
Right. Okay, CDC.
I'm like, what's actually happening here? I interviewed at the CDC, so in my opinion, this is way more than anything that I have ever done where I've interviewed for a government position. So they want 6 private companies to set up shop. Like, what is it? They think Black and brown people, we just gonna turn into the freaking zombies because the weed is free and we're going to just be foaming at the mouth trying to jump into anything in order to get it. First of all, by the way, I could still grow my own. Okay. I could still grow my own. So all of this junk that you're doing to try to keep me out, good.
I don't want y'all little
whatever
synthetic.
You cooking is like synthetic. They keep it in the whatever stuff y'all grow in there. Right. I'm so just ashamed. I don't know. As a regulator, it frustrates me. And I again, give a shout out to the Cannabis Regulators of Color Coalition, CRCC. We definitely going to have to come in and start saying some things about what's happening in Georgia because they don't know what they're doing. And these requirements are not only really cost heavy for the private companies, it also doesn't create an environment that anybody would want to work in. Right.
Okay.
And it to me feels still very enforcement heavy. The police can on like whenever
they're having a bad day, so they want to check your place of work on what y'all doing. No. Not to mention, they don't even have smokable flower. So you can't even smoke no flower. Y'all basically setting yourselves up to be in Minnesota and not be able to really get medical marijuana. But my question is, no tea, no shade to Minnesota, because Minnesota was super, super fun. But there were no, everybody in Atlanta thinks they're a star. But it wasn't that in Minnesota. So it's like, okay, people are a little bit more suburban in Minnesota. We are urban. We are Black Hollywood. You telling me you driving around in a Maserati and a Ferrari, but you still buying your weed from the illegal market? Oh, okay.
Well, that's, again, I think it's about just re-education. So I'm calling to the table all the celebrities. If you are using cannabis in any way, I think Eva has Eva the Diva. Right. Housewife has a CBD line. Sevad, I think it is. People are tangentially there, but come all the way through. Your advocacy is required. There are a lot of people who are in this state, your grandmas, your grandpas, your aunties that need it as medicine. And this is not setting them up to get that. We have aunties that need it as medicine. Real talk. And this is not setting it up for her to get that.
It's a joke.
It's a joke, yeah.
This is a joke. And they want you to start their licenses with $5,000 all the way up to $100,000. It is pure comedy. So we're going to give it a main topic one day when we get more and more information, because they really feeding this information really small teaspoon bite size.
On purpose, they do want to disenfranchise the people. I'll just say this last thing. The intention is to keep information away. I'm sure there are a lot of people from Atlanta, Georgia, that when we say that there's a medical market in Georgia, they're like, what? I mean, we have a cousin who texted me, was like, hey, when do you think Georgia's going to have a... I might technically have some.
I'm like, you ain't paying attention. That's why you don't know.
They also are hiding it. So it's like a catch-22. We need y'all to dig. That's why we, do it for them. Thank you for your sleuth skills. You find all the tea. You're like, I got a receipt.
Well, listen, let me tell you something. The government's been doing this. You want to know why? Because we're about to move to our topic number 2 and talk about California. It's not just the South. California is doing some whack things too. Now, once upon a time, we know it was the cannabis mecca. Well, during this age of legalization, it is not. It has really removed craft cannabis brands and licensing from its market. And that is a hole. That is a huge hole, especially for a place like California. Now, they basically, with legalization, defranchise small farmers because they cannot afford the tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars to receive a license. Also, what they do is they put stipulations on growers to have to use a middleman and a distributor, which ultimately this distributor has the ability to take your name off and add their name onto it. And if they want to throw a couple of dollars on top, they can too. They also are making it so tight that basically growers can only do white labeling. A lot of these multi-state operators, big California brand names, are really white labeled products.
Yes. Oh God. I mean, do not get me started. We work with a few different MSOs and I know what the receipts really look like on that. And what I will say without putting all the business out on the streets is that California has done exactly what we predicted in 2018. It has overregulated the market and is overregulated out, of course, the smaller players. And it starts from the beginning of the chain. This is why you can't get good Cali weed on the legal market. If you're saying you got good Cali weed, you bought it illegally, bruh or sis. And we're going to be real with you. I mean, of course, we ain't judging. At the end of the day, even as a regulator, I say all the time, it's like, how do you expect your constituents to make that shift when you're not offering them something better in price and or in product? So yes, this is what happens when you over-regulate the market. It's complicated. It is strangling the plant, and it's making it so that small businesses are not able to survive. I'll give a perfect example. You have what I call monster size conglomerate business. We're talking about 20 different licenses to make a vertical business so you can own the market. And if you can buy it, if you can buy that many, then you will get them. Every attempt other than small places here and there, shout out to Oakland, they're doing some really great things. Any attempt around equity, though, has been a bit of a shit show. Los Angeles, is one of those examples.
It's just a joke.
I struggle. I'm supportive, of course, of Cat Packer, who was part of CRCC and leading the way. And a lot of times you're the pioneer, you get the money in your face. I do not think that is for the weak of heart to stay in that role and continue to lead and try to iterate and say, hey, these are the mistakes that are made. But that's also what happens when you're not listening to the person who has the most capabilities and competency. When you're letting people, still, a lot of the legislators, white male legislators, who think they know, even when you're a Democrat, doesn't necessarily mean you understand cannabis. Democrats put a lot of people in jail related to cannabis. Yeah. So what you need are cannabis competent individuals leading the policy and the regulations. And that means understanding the legal market as well as the legacy market. And the legacy market in California is second only to New York. Right. And therefore is something not to be played with. And right now, y'all playing with it.
They really are.
Yeah. Real crazy.
And you put it so clear. I try to always say, when it's coming to these lawmakers, y'all need to pump the brakes. Stop adding in these laws that y'all don't understand. Let these regulators do their job. That means, hey, we're going to make it legal. We want a marketplace. We want people to be able to get money and be equities. Boom. That's all you got right. It don't have to be 100 pages. It don't have to be 20 pages. Like, it could be like Oklahoma, it could be a 5-page memo and allowing the regulators to create the framework.
Yes.
Had she been able to really create a real framework without the legislator having so many confusing laws, so many things where you're taking out small players, making it a big market and not really a free market, if they had just let her create the framework, it'd probably be a whole lot better, So we have to hold our lawmakers' feet to the fire because ultimately it is them doing it. And we got to hold big cannabis to the fire too. Y'all can't go around throwing y'all money anywhere and think it's okay to allow small businesses to drown because y'all want the legislative work to benefit you.
Well, that's where we, get into things like probably the next hot topic, which is where big brands like Caliva and the like are saying they support small farmers, but in reality, they put more burdens on farmers. I know what it's like to work for a big company that wants to do good. Target was a great company, always wanted to do good, but there were plenty of times that I went there and they knew that they could compare us to Walmart because we were still doing some things like Walmart because we had that economies of scale. You can be a bully, but you can be an inclusive bully, so to speak, but it has to be authentic. Yeah. Otherwise, it's never going to be effective. It's still going to be a sharecropper model, which is not equitable.
And we talk a lot about that in California, but you're right. It has moved us into our hot topic number 3, which is about a lot of people in your generation's favorite guy, JayZ. Yes, he is still making cannabis moves and headlines. And I ain't never seen him at no cannabis convention, not no virtual keynote. We got that one DPA video with his voiceover and it's been it.
And that's been from years ago. You are a shady, but she's correct though. The accuracy is there. He is not what we call one of our cannabis celebrities, like Al Harrington, right? It's cannabis celebrity. But JayZ, no, not so much.
He's, kind of like Snoop Dogg, Wiz Khalifa. We got some tea on them next week. So y'all definitely tune in next week because we got some tea on some of these celebrity brands. But the real tea here for JayZ is about this huge cannabis merger that, of course, is coined the largest merger in cannabis ever.
I think we saw that last year too.
You are quite right about that.
But in that case, it did not happen. So let us hear what is the tea, Ice.
All right. Well, you guys. I might mess up on some of these people's names, but I don't mean to. So we know Caliva is merging with Left Coast Ventures, Rock Nation, and Subversive Capital.
Wow. Yes. Okay. Well, yes, they have some crazy names, but yes, they are merging.
Yes, they are. And in this huge merge, Subversive Capital will acquire both Caliva and Left Coast Ventures for $282.9 million and $142.2 million. Jeez, this is million. And all these combined will be dubbed the parent company. Now, I know you guys are wondering, where does JayZ go in this other than Caliva? Well, he actually has been titled Chief Visionary Officer. Now, I think I like to know business, but I really know the T. And the T here is businesswoman. I got to ask you, because I asked a few of my other MBA women I know, what is a Chief Visionary Officer?
You ain't never heard of the CVO?
No, I heard of CVS, but I ain't never heard no CVO. Now,
the shade. I mean, listen, I ain't never gotten into any company and was like, I want to be the CVO. But Chief Visionary Officer, these are legit titles that get made up for big branded individuals, personal brands that come in, probably lending a ton of brand equity on just being JayZ. He's automatically coming with all those suburban white boys that love him. Because you're right, for my generation, 40 and over, he was somebody. Hope was somebody. Now he just Beyonce's husband. Okay? So let's just be real as far as like what he's impacting on my day to day. That being said, I have to laugh because yes, Chief Visionary is more or less saying that they maybe inspire the growth, direction, and vision of the company, like what they stand for. What actual work they do, it's not that different from his chief brand officer position for Caliva.
At least you review some marketing.
Well, yes, maybe I don't know, like, listen, I don't want to say I know what that is because everybody got a different thing. What it is, he's a chief something officer. He is in the C-suite, and what I think they'd like us to believe is that he has some sort of real impact. And Marine, they just want to fit him into the org chart.
Okay, let me play his violin.
Like a little box here for him and say, see, that's where JayZ is. Or it would be for the org chart to be Sean Carter, of course. Right?
Parentheses JayZ.
Yes. But no. You got to share a little bit more. But this is the numbers, y'all. She talked about 2 different transactions, 2 different companies that are being acquired. It's about a $500 million transaction. Last year, we talked about a $680 million transaction. That was the biggest then. Didn't happen. So this is now the biggest.
Yes. Ain't nobody signed no papers yet, according to my tea.
Oh, so it's still pending.
Yes. So, as we play our violin, JayZ recently launched a cannabis line called Mammogram. And one of his first things with the brand is creating awareness on the invisible cannabis borderlines from state to state. And he wants to really create entrepreneurship for Black and brown people. They do have a little tab about social equity and justice on Caliva. They've basically launched 2 brands. No, personally for me, I have not heard of them before, but they just launched in 2020, claiming to be Black and brown people. And so, we are gonna keep our eyes on you, sir, because you want to be kinfolk, not skinfolk. And Beyonce is Queen Mother Skin Folk for me, okay? So she married to you. We don't want to, uninvite you to the cookout now. So we come in, knock, knock, knock.
But we already know Beyonce would still attend.
Right? Beyonce gets the invite and the kids and Tina and Mama Tina.
But that's what it is. I mean, 2021, it goes back to my motto. I'm a Black woman. You can't tell me nothing. And that means that if my husband is not acting right, guess what? He will be left at home. Okay. And so one thing I will just point out again is that this is actually a really solid business move for JayZ. For folks who are interested in that aspect of it, let's first talk about it real quick. It's a good business move because of all of the brands and there are a lot in the portfolio. I think it's like 12 to 15 different brands in the portfolio for Subversive. There's a lot of potential. They have been out of the scandal room. We haven't heard too much, and we definitely be keeping our ear to the ground. And so for what it is in terms of a portfolio, I'm impressed, and I can say these are solid brands. Now, whether they are really doing equity-related activities or if it's just performative, that is what remains to be seen, and that's what gets you uninvited to the barbecue or the family barbecue at that. So one thing I will just point out is that they have said a lot of things. They've even offered a fund that they're going to wind up investing $10 million into Black and brown businesses. As a businesswoman, initially I was like, but then I wish there was another 0 or 2. I think at the end of the day, the portfolio in total is a multi-billion-dollar portfolio. They picked up 2, and I said there's 12 to 15. In the 2, that was a $500 million deal. So we don't talk about another $500 million to get to billions. Right? They're also invested in brands like Tilray, which is already, again, being exchanged regularly in the stock market. I think we just got to be realistic that this lines JayZ's pocket. He probably came to the table with a dollar amount as well as a brand equity amount that he gets to push as the visionary, and it is going to make him some money. Now, it's making him some money contingent on he act right and he doesn't get disowned from the Black community because it's not really helping. So I'll just give us, say that I'm liking directionally what I'm seeing. It becomes more action and less performative when we put more zeros. 100 million is what is needed. If you're really trying to, you already know it takes a lot. We just said California is like deregulating folks out. You only got big brands. How is that 10 million going to help but one company? For real. Let's figure out how do we help more in the masses. And how come we haven't recognized the power of being able to come in, like a method man and create cacao from scratch to some degree versus just piggybacking some white boy shit? At the end of the day, we have the ability, JayZ, to come in, and you could actually be doing something with Elevate, right? Shayone's brand. Right. You could do something with things that are already being built by Black folks. What they may be looking at, if I'm saying, I'm looking at maybe I could be acquired by Subversive, right? And become a portfolio. But he has more money that he can make on his own in this run. So when I talk about this, I'm looking at a business sense, and I'm definitely trying to figure out how do we get ahead. And unfortunately, JayZ gets ahead. These white boys collectively get ahead, and maybe we might boil a little part of the ocean.
He might let 3 Black people up in some director positions.
But that's a job, right? And maybe you get a little equity, but that's not how do we get our community shifted from what's happening in North Carolina, where you are getting literally time and a felony charge for a roach in your pocket, to JayZ being able to do a $500 million deal to acquire some companies. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is where we have to be figuring out where we're connected, and we're not connecting the dots, and he's not building with the Black companies that are already on the ground.
No, and he's pushing new Black-owned companies that people ain't never even heard of some of these people in the industry. So, I don't know how it's going to work. I know his little mammogram thing goes on the invisible border of Oregon and Idaho and stuff like that, not really on the Black borders that are invisible. So, maybe he can move to the west and the south, I don't know. Anyway, basically, Submersive Capital Chairman Michael said that with the advanced infrastructure, industry-leading operational efficiencies, proven strategies of brand and cultural influence, the parent company is expected to be the best position for the inevitable end of cannabis prohibition in the United States. So he thinks this is going to put the nail in the coffin to make it legal.
No, I think he thinks it's already going to be legal, which we know. We just, again, based on the administration, he just thinks that. And he thinks that when it's legal, this is the best company. And he feel like he got the dream team. You got JayZ, and that's the culture part, by the way. You got all of these companies that have, basically mostly operated in California.
Yeah. And no brown people, because I looked on there about us and they teams, and there was women. There was 2 women, but it wasn't no brown people.
Well, the brown person is supposed to be JayZ, and he represents us.
Dang, he gonna carry the whole Black folks?
That's what the problem is with tokenism. And I think JayZ is going to have to work really hard to stay invited to the barbecue by not being a token. I mean, even if you are going to be the token, which, by the way, an old B like me, as far as with Beyonce, she knows when she's being the token, and like she was in some ways with the Coachella, but she was like, if I'm gonna be the token, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna act a fool, right? And that is for the culture. We loved it, and I do think that where JayZ maybe stopped short is maybe he ain't doing enough brainstorm sessions with his wife, so she could be like, how do you come in and really act the fool? Because acting a fool would have been $100 million. Drop that real quick and say, listen, we're doing this deal, but this is what we putting back in. You saying I did a $500 million deal, you doing 20% right back into the community? That's acting a fool, in my opinion, based on business. The 10 million this is what any
that's
old
what he's lost his teeth with.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you're right about it. And so guess what, JayZ? We come in knocking because you supposed to be kinfolk now. And so we come in to knock on your door. Yes. We know a lot of Black and brown companies ran by some bosses, okay, that can use 100 mil. I mean, 10 mil we could start as a minimum, but we want 100 mil. So after this whole extreme ridiculous of all our hot topics, we got to give you guys our main topic, which is basically the ultimate gift guide for holidays this year.
Yay!
Yes!
This is always Ice's way of trying to tell me what she wants, or Imani or Vita, our sisters, this is what she wants for holiday. And like she said earlier, says it ain't real weed. She's like, I'll settle for these CBD items.
Right, or these smoking accessories, which we are going to start off and say that. And I'm the queen of always getting you a smoking accessory for holiday or birthday. Because your birthday real close to the holiday.
Indeed.
And I have to shout out one of our favorite smoking shops, Simply Smoking. I mean, they really, really understand that women like to smoke too. And we like to smoke pretty cute bongs and one hitters. And so basically they have a pipe that is a crystal pipe. It's a crystal pipe. You could get an amethyst, citrine, clear quartz, and it's called the Kiki. Yes.
Because it's for a Kiki.
Yes, and it has a little, it's actually pointy at the top, so it's kind of like a wand looking thing. So it's like pretty dope.
I love it.
It's really, really dope. Kiki, honey. Then they have one that's a viola, which is a little bit more your steez. It's square. It looks really thick, really hard. It's still a crystal, so you can still get it in clear quartz, amethyst, just in case you want to smoke and manifest, because it'd be a whole bunch of women like that. And I thought it was really dope.
Oh, so it sounds like I'm going to get the square one in amethyst.
Okay, well, write that down. They also have pipe filter replacements now for us.
I need that.
Right. For me, sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I don't be really using the pipe filters like that, but they definitely are super, super helpful if you do not like Scoobies in your mouth. Mm-hmm. So real. And they have grinders, which we love grinders over here too, because usually our nails is done and it is not fun. So grinder, they have an Imani grinder.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, we got to get that for her.
Yes, it's a 5-piece grinder. Comes with the little bottom part so you could grab your keys. It's big and round and circle. It is cute. It is cute. They also have the Ronnie grinder. Now, the Ronnie grinder is all go, everything. This is like the perfect grinder if you are doing something for New Year's and you want to be like, pat out, look me grinding up this ace in this pretty gold thing.
For those of us who can use the grinder. If you are in New York, by the way, you can grind up some hemp legally. Just
I mean, you could grind up hemp, you could grind up tobacco, you could grind up real cannabis. That's what I'm grinding up. Because we all know just because it's illegal don't mean it's right. And then they do have some really dope apparel too. We have the I'm Simply Smoking tee. I wore that last week. I really like that. Got mad compliments on that one. When they go low, we stay high. Okay. And that's a really cute tee. You wore it a couple episodes back. Yep. And then they got an all white hoodie. Hello. And it says, I'm sophisticated AF. And I am definitely here for that hoodie. And that was my hint to have you write that down.
Oh, my bad. I got you.
Yes. And I am here for the I grind up the weed and the hemp. Yes, we do.
You know that's what I do.
Yes.
I got my little cannabis cocktails.
Yes.
Marijuana.
Yes, we do use hemp papers, no blunts. Okay. Yes, I'm here for that. Because we know them blunts be like synthetic too. It'd be like them little runts you get on the underground one,
Yeah,
anyway.
Not good for you.
Right. Our second smoking accessory is Stay Lifted. Now, this brand is really dope, really cute. I mean, she says some of the funniest things online, so definitely follow them. But Stay Lifted, oh my God, they have this $100 stash jar that is just the cutest thing ever. And people don't know what it is. They also,
I mean, it's supposed to be stash jar. I mean, it's really covered. I like that.
Do you like that? Yeah. Well, it's also a great little stocking stuffer because it's paired at $12.99.
Oh, that's real good. Yeah.
Yes. And so they also have a Might Be Makeup stash bag. I would actually only keep my makeup in that because that is a really cute makeup bag. It's black too. So, if you are a black girl wearing makeup, it is definitely helpful to have a darker color bag. Mm-hmm. They have this thing called Pennsylvania Medical Marijuana License ebook for 99 cents. So it's the in and outs of the medical marijuana market in Pennsylvania, which is important because, truth be told, Pennsylvania's cannabis, they are winning a lot of cases in court in that state because police and DAs are doing things that they're not supposed to be doing if you are protected by the medical marijuana.
Yes, I'm basically telling any of my peeps who are still in Pennsylvania and Philly specifically, get your card. HIPAA protection is there. They have a Supreme Court a judgment that supports that. And yes, if you have your card and you're getting stopped, you should be able to stop all of the harassment associated with it. But sound like to me, the might be makeup is something that could help prevent some of that. Yeah, hopefully it's smell proof.
Right. I did not see that on the links, but maybe we'll get one and I'll let you know, sis.
Okay.
And then she has a Legalize It hoodie. I really loved it. It is beige with pink and white writing, so it's super, super girly. And we know finding some cannabis tees and apparel that's girly but doesn't have like pop prints all over the place is like one of our favorite things. And then now, if you guys are just looking for a bundle, I highly suggest getting the Lifted Starter Kit. It comes with things like ashtrays, lighter holders. You'll be able to access the ebook. You also have the Might Be Stash bag, some stash jars, which we are queen of stash jars. So
that sounds like a really good starter kit for someone who you're wanting them to transition how they are, keeping their cannabis a little bit. I got a lot of friends. Got a lot of friends in my age group that are still doing the things that, you used in the past to hide stuff. And it isn't cute. It isn't, a little sophisticated.
It's not like a jewelry box. You still hiding your cannabis in the freezer, honey. I don't think that's what you're supposed to do.
Or it's not necessary at this point.
They not going to knock your door down because they think you El Chapo B. You work at a good job with 401k.
We hope not. Let's hope. But you never know. I get it. I understand. I got PTSD for it too.
I mean, you might be right. Maybe I'd be trying to give too much credit to the police officers. I'll be like, no, they don't care about us.
Apparently not in North Carolina.
Okay, obviously not. No. And so I've been following this woman for a minute on IG, and I love her products. They're all pretty much handmade as well. It is called GLitty by Kelly. Woo, this girl, now I'm a glitter queen. I love me some glitter. Glitter is all over in my house all the time, 24/7. And so GLitty by Kelly has got me everything I need. They have glitter rolling trays, okay? And you can customize the rolling tray with anything you want to do. She's actually doing a Black Friday sale for $35 starting for her glitter customized rolling trays. She also has a money sign blunt holders, bling blunt holders. I have a few. I'm kind of mad that COVID has, stopped my cannabis shine because I be really stunting around this time with the cannabis and smoking out in public and stuff. So that is the cutest thing. And a blunt holder, really, listen, since we're talking about COVID, y'all don't have to share blunt holders. It's kind of like a hookah clip,
That's actually a good point. I'm excited about some of these opportunities to check out a couple of things more, because obviously you were saying you need it as a gift, but I'm just curious also about what things I could find. I'm a little bit more subdated than the glitter, but of course I like a little bit of some.
Obviously. You need a doggone cute rolling tray because you be having cannabis everywhere.
Because I'm making my cocktails, it's got to be mixed, and so I have my certain. But you're right, a good rolling tray is always an important thing when you're creating the cocktail.
Right, and you always talking about stash jars. We pretty much are the queen of the mason jars, so we have mason jars and stuff, and just having something that is a little bit more customized, a little bit more glamorous, and it'd be helpful if when the stash jar is technically covered because your cannabis wants to be stored in something dark and cool.
Yes. So we got Simply Smoking, Stay Lifted, and the GLitty
by Kelly.
Okay, all right. We got good options there.
Yes. And so let's get into the CBD skincare.
Okay. What's up with the skincare?
Okay. Well, we have to talk about Undefined Beauty.
100%.
Dasheeda, your sister Imani literally has been beating me over the head with this glow elixir she is in love with so much, and she swears by it.
Well, I mean, because it's amazing.
Yes,
Shout
it
out
is.
to my soror, Dorian Morris. We did our J&J internship, summer internship during MBA together. She's ex-Sephora. So this is one of her first things out the gate. And I'm just really proud of how much effort and energy she took to make sure that not only was it branded well, because a lot of people know how to do well in the branding space, but it was a real good product.
Yes, it is really a great product. And it is so cute that it is legit something that you find at a Sephora, but Sephora don't have 250 full spectrum cannabinoids.
No, Sephora got the hemp seed oil. If you talk about you got hemp in it, but no. She's definitely put quite a bit of potency behind it, and it really does leave your skin beautiful.
Absolutely. And so she has a glow glee that, I mean, that looks so dope. A glow detox, where it is basically like detoxing all of your skin. It's a good exfoliating scrub. And for the holidays, she knew that you probably wanted to try everything because she got so many more products. She decided to do a glow holiday bundle, y'all. Starting at $48.
Well, that sounds like my gift. No, I'm just playing. No, I think Dorian, again, this is what she does. I mean, she's ex-General Mills. She gets that, and I wouldn't expect anything other than a really awesome Black Friday deal. Bundling is so important in the beauty space, and her products have really, to me, are impeccable. She just launched a chocolate too, so she is moving from topical to ingested, and I think her whole thought is around this clean beauty, clean adaptogens, things that are good for your body. She's done a lot of research, and I'm just happy about her growth, and you know, I'm like, go girl.
Yes. Well, I did see that chocolate. It was looking good. I do believe it comes into the holiday bundle as well, so this is perfect if you need an at-home spa day after doing all the holiday stuff. Okay, so definitely put this on your list. It's a great stocking stuffer as well. Then I gotta talk about my girl Jane Green. Now, we have used her products in the past, and we could swear by them. So when she released the beauty line, I knew I had to have my eyes on it. She has a tea face mist. I mean, it smells really good. I feel like I've smelled it. She also has a universal primer, which is really important. I mean, a universal primer could also just be your moisturizer for the day. You get up and go. And she has a brow and lash serum. Now, for me personally, I've only seen brow and lash serum with Milk Cosmetics. So that is the real hole in the market.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and first of all, she's also just, again, filling multiple holes. There's not that many scrubs. There's not that many of the types of products. She has a mask as well. I think she's done a good job with trying to see where you can use it in the everyday, and that is a part of the beauty market growing. But now you have CBD. And you know me, I feel like if you add CBD, you definitely are adding a super ingredient. It's the new super ingredient in the beauty space.
Absolutely. And honey, we need it because some of us just don't want to go to these filters so quick. Yes. So please check out Jane Green. I mean, the beauty products are definitely good, and she's an expert. She is someone that took her time to learn about the cannabis industry. And I forgot to tell y'all, all these companies is Black owned.
Yes, they are.
My bad, y'all. I mean, they was already so good. It's like, adding a little special jazz on the top. And then our last and final is Taylor and Tess. And the reason why I had to throw them on the list is because we are still using their products. In the Buff cleansing bar, let me tell you, I will swear to my life on this bar. I mean, you can use it on your face, you can use it on your skin, your hands, everything. And it changes the way your skin reacts to new chemical soap too, because it's so clean.
It is. It's very lathersome. Like, you can get a good lather. It's made from an African soap base with the CBD in it. I think has 50 milligrams. No, I think that Tess has done a great job with Taylor and Tess. Also Black owned, Black woman owned. She's has been part of the Undefined Collective. So she's worked with Dorian. So there's connectivity there. I'm excited about all of these companies that are, in many ways, many of these people don't use the book How to Succeed in the Cannabis Industry. They are using their skills that they had in previous areas and transitioning them over. And in some cases, they're not. They're just noticing a hole in the market. I also just really quickly, because I know that we are running out of time. I just want to also give a quick shout out to Kimberly Dillon, who is really the brains behind one of my favorite brands, Proper and Barkley, in terms of just what they've done with CPG branding and marketing within the cannabis space. Definitely top notch and leading the way and have led the way. But she launched Get Frig, which is her own CBD beauty line. And she, like Dorian, also MBA, her and Dorian actually went to Procter and Gamble summer internship together as well. So there's a lot of overlap, and I'm just so excited to see so many people using that same skill that we've taken from Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies, and moved them into the cannabis space.
Well, that is lit, and I definitely want to try that products too. Okay,
yes, Get Frig.
I heard you was talking about some hair oil or something.
Yes, she has a tea. She has a hair oil, scalp oil. It's really about rejuvenating things. And CBD, as we all know, above all, first of all, the skin has like a really large number of receptors within the skin. And that's our whole skin, all over the whole body. And CBD definitely helps drive that homeostasis or that balance. So things that are too dry can actually be balanced in terms of their oil. We get a lot of dry scalp, especially within women of color, but then also things that are too oily can also help. So I don't know, CBD cannabis is such a great plant because it has so many cannabinoids, and cannabinoids are molecules that a lot of times you don't have to tell them what to do in the body. It goes in and it does its own thing, and it basically drives the body to balance. And so if you're doing too much, it's going to be like you're doing too much. If you're doing too little, be like, come on, bro, you're not doing enough. Like that's what it does in the body, and I like that for every part of the body.
I know that's right. Well, put my foot down. We need some more research.
Yes, we do.
Because could you imagine if you added CBD to some Botox, honey? Your face might move, lady.
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know if I would inject CBD, but maybe. But the whole point is
you don't know.
We don't have enough people studying it. But I look forward to seeing more and more done, and also more accountability. These are great products with consumer protection, that expertise. But there are still a lot of products out there that's saying they got CBD, but don't really be having it. I gotta put Sephora a little bit on blast because they have a whole CBD section, and like 60% of the brands is hemp seed oil. And if you don't understand the cannabis science, you don't understand that hemp seed doesn't have a high cannabinoid potency. It doesn't have high cannabinoid volume, right? You're not going to extract CBD from there. It's not coming from the seed. It's coming from the plant, and there is a difference. So the plant as in the flower. So I don't know. I'm struggling with, again, how quickly it's moving. I'm happy that it is, but it's so important that we still use real science and not bro science.
Right. And y'all need to start tapping into these real brands. Tap in, because they know what they doing. They got a collective. They got experts. And they know beauty too. So please learn about these companies now. And I mean, ultimately, you're right. We got to plug it again. How to succeed in the cannabis industry definitely has helped a lot of people switch over into the industry. But are you doing anything special for the WeedHead.com?
Well, of course, our best-selling book at this point, we got 3 categories. I don't know if we said it on She Blaze. That probably should have been my high of the week. But now we are Amazon bestseller in 3 different categories. We wanted just one as the goal. So we got 3: adult and continuing education, business entrepreneurship, as well as economics. All right. But no, it is a great workbook, and it's a $19.99 all of the time. Amazon, Target.com, BarnesandNoble.com. But if you want it and you don't really like paper like me, and you want it right away because you like instant gratification like her, then you want to go to the WeedHead.com/shop, and you can put in the code GreenRush, and you can get it for $9.99. The ebook is usually $12.99. And I'm probably going to do something on Monday. But if you're like, I got to have this book right now, yes, you can get it right now for $9.99. 99 cents. And yeah, I don't know. I just think it's one of those things where it really is a good layout of every part of the industry. It's not meant to tell you what to do, but more so get you started on how you need to do it, creating your own personal strategy for success. And again, key thing, personal. I share a little bit of my story, and it is about a crossover of my skill, but you've got to figure out what your skills, what your why is, and you've got to work through the 100 questions. There's 100 questions, and it's a workbook for a reason. So even if you get the ebook, you're still going to have to print it. You're still going to have to do the work. Right. So I definitely want to encourage people to do both. I don't like paper, so I'd get the ebook. $9.99. Green Rush is the code. And yeah, the book is a bestseller. Thank you, Anne-Marie. And thank you for certainly plugging it at Cannabisiac. We did a book club presentation of how to succeed. And you're a part of the reason, the partnership there, on how we've been able to still get to bestseller without a book tour. I mean, real talk, like COVID canceled the book tour. It was a 15-city book tour. And we probably would have been doing it in person. And luckily, because of those type of digital partnerships, we've been able to reach a lot of people very quickly.
Well, that is so dope. And thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for the super chat. You know, we are here to really, really keep y'all in the loop on cannabis news and culture because, hello, they will pull the wool over your eyes if they could. Now, please let the people know where they can find you, Dasheeda.
Oh, I'm where I've always been. I'm now at Dasheeda Dawson again and always and forever on IG and Twitter. But also, you guys got to be joining me on IG, 9:08 p.m. Couple nights a week. I go live for what I've been calling We Won, Now We Work. And up next, we got Dr. Rachel Knox, who's going to be going live with me on Tuesday at 9:08 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:08 p.m. PST. And so, yeah, join us there. It's always a good time.
Lit. Well, thank you guys for joining us. You know, you can find us at she_blaze on IG. Okay. And you can listen to us anytime, stream us anytime on SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Radio, just everywhere. Just find us.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a great week.
Yes. Happy holidays.